All right, welcome to Hoops Tonight here at The Volume. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Round one coverage of the NBA playoffs here at Hoops Tonight is brought to you by Chase Freedom Unlimited. How do you cash back? We're just going to go for like 10, 15 minutes here on the Knicks, Cavs, and the Lakers, Grizzlies. I'm not going to spend too much time on them because I need to get back over to watch the late games. We will do deeper dives into all of these teams as we progress into the weekend. You guys know the drill. Before we get started, subscribe to the Volume's YouTube channel so you don't miss any more of our videos. Follow me on Twitter at _JasonLT so you guys don't miss any show announcements. And if for whatever reason you missed one of these shows and you can't get back over to YouTube to finish, don't forget you can find them wherever you get your podcasts under Hoops Tonight. All right, let's talk some basketball. So the Lakers, you know, it's funny. This series is following a very similar path to the Warriors-Grizzlies series from last year. Very similar dynamic, too. I think that the Warriors were clearly a little bit better than the Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies were also the younger, more athletic, and more physical team. And that's true for the this Lakers-Grizzlies series, particularly as it pertains to the stars. It's clear that Desmond Bane and Ja Morant are getting stronger as the series is progressing. Whereas LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they're struggling. Anthony Davis had a much better night tonight than he did in Game 4, but the two of them are struggling to summon the amount of energy that they need to match those two guys. But if you look at that particular series, it followed a very similar path. Game 1 was pretty close, and the Warriors won. And then the Grizzlies bounced back and won Game 2. Then in Game 3, the Warriors blew them out. Then in Game 4, it was a nail-biter. The Warriors barely won by 3 points. And then they just got the shit kicked out of them in Game 5 in Memphis. But then they went home in Game 6 and they won the series. This series has followed a very similar pattern. Up until the Ja Morant injury in Game 1, it was razor close, but the Lakers were in control for the most part and looked like the slightly better team. Then in Game 2, Ja Morant out, play with a ton of energy. They outplay the Lakers, beat them by 10. Then the Lakers win comfortably in Game 3, jump out to a massive lead early, and then just kind of stiff-arm them the rest of the game. And then Game 4 is that nail-biter. They come back and win in OT, and then Game 5, they just get completely outplayed and trail big for most of the game, right? Now, there's a slight difference. Ja Morant was unable to finish that Warriors series last year, but Ja Morant's been very up and down in this particular series. Hasn't been good defensively. Had a really nice stretch in the second half of this game. Has had some stretches where he's looked good, but for the most part, especially in the slow down, grind out portions of the game, he's been bad defensively and has really forced things into traffic, missed a lot of shots, had a lot of turnovers, complaining to the refs, stuff like that. So not to say that Ja isn't a great basketball player. Of course he is. But Desmond Bane has been the best Grizzly in this series, and it hasn't been particularly close. I believe Desmond Bane's been the best player in the series on both teams over the course of the last two games. He had 36 in Game 4, and then is just very comfortable now. He's solved Austin Reeves. He knows he can be really physical with him before he starts his cuts. So he's like setting up Austin Reeves for a screen and then like kind of throwing him a little bit and then going into the screen. So he's getting a little bit of a head start and he's getting a ton of separation. He's also turning the corner and getting downhill a lot more. In the first few games, he was really, really settling for threes as he was coming off of those screens. So Desmond Bane has started to figure some stuff out. He's been by far the most comfortable player in the series. LeBron, his jump shot has completely left him, which has made his offensive impact limited. And then in order to win this particular game on the road in Game 5, they were absolutely going to need to shoot the ball well, and they just couldn't. Aside from a couple of threes from Austin Reeves and a brief little hot shooting stretch from D'Angelo Russell in the early third quarter, the Lakers role players are not just missing their threes, they're missing them badly. They're not comfortable, they're not confident. It's tough. So here's the thing. The Lakers will still be mild favorites to win the series after this game. They will be slightly favored to win Game 6, and I believe they will. But they are in just a little bit of danger, and they need to approach Game 6 with a great deal of urgency because going back to Memphis in Game 7, they will not be the favorite. Memphis will probably be about a 5.5-point favorite in that game. And honestly, if it goes to Game 7, I'd be really tempted to shift my pick towards Memphis. The Lakers absolutely have to approach Game 6 with a certain amount of urgency. This can happen. Memphis is one of the best home teams in the league. They play super physical. They play super hard. They shot better than the Lakers in this game. It's a good win, and it can be overcome. The Lakers I believe will win Game 6, but they're in just a tiny bit of trouble, and they need to bring the requisite level of intensity in Game 6. I think it's going to be vitally important for LeBron and AD to play massive minutes in that game. Darvin Ham's going to have to be quick with subs, with particular role players that are struggling. Like, it's really unfortunate. I was joking with a buddy during the game. There are two expensive shooters in this series, like guys who make good money, who are professional shooters, who don't defend well. Luke Kennard and Malik Beasley. And Luke Kennard makes shots, and Malik Beasley can't make shots. And that's like a little minor swing factor in this series. Like getting it to the point where, like LeBron James, just being incapable of knocking down a three-point shot as guys sag off of him or in spot-up situations. That's an issue. They're going to have to shoot better. They're going to have to bring a hellacious defensive effort. They're going to have to bring a similar effort to what Memphis did in Game 5, because the problem is for 2 games now, Memphis has gotten better shots. Now, through savvy and LeBron James and a D'Angelo Russell hot shooting stretch and all of their experience, they built themselves margin for error in the form of a 3-1 lead, which is now 3-2, but can't play with fire in this particular series. They need to close them out in Game 6. Couple quick thoughts on the Knicks-Cavs series. This is a series I just had a good feel for going in. A lot of the things that I specifically targeted before the series really bared out over the course of the series. The Cavs are entirely reliant on pick and roll and are not a good spot-up team. So if they're not going to beat you in ISO on switches, and when you get in pick and roll, you can load up on their ball handlers because their guys off ball are not going to convert shots. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland both had very up and down series, and more down than up, right? I talked a lot about how I thought Jalen Brunson was a lot closer to Donovan Mitchell than people were willing to admit, and that he was absolutely capable of outplaying Donovan Mitchell in this series, and that he would need to for the Knicks to win, and he did. Jalen Brunson was the best player in the series, in my opinion. Just the combination of the ability to work out of the ISO and out of ISO and out of the post to add variety to what he was doing in pick and roll just makes him harder to guard. He's much more methodical. He's a much better game manager, and the overall aggregate defensive or offensive skill of the Knicks is just higher. They have more skilled offensive players. They had like 6 guys in double figures in this particular game. And then also I talked about how the strength of the Knicks defense was their guards. And they did a really nice job in pick and roll all series long. Really impressive series. Obviously, it's a huge bummer that we end up getting this injury to Julius Randle. The one silver lining, I think there's a pretty good chance, at least a coin flip chance, if not better, that Bucks Heat could go 7. Almost certainly going to go 6 if they can win tonight at home. They need to buy as much time as possible for Julius Randle. And if that series goes 7 games, they're going to have almost a week to rest Julius Randle up. So hopefully that ankle injury isn't too severe. All right, guys, that's all I have for right now. We will be back later tonight after the late slate of games. As always, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in a few hours.